Welcome back to Kamikaze Overdrive. This is a post-fight podcast for UFC 136, and it is also going to be my tournament draw for the upcoming Predictors tournament that I'll be doing, and I'll talk about that very shortly. But for UFC 136, overall I went 7-4, which isn't bad. But if you look at it a little bit closer, on the Facebook prelims I went 1-3. Those are usually the fights I know the least about, but I do try to do a little bit of research. I went 1-3. After that, 6-1, fantastic. I called a lot of fights right on the nose. I didn't, maybe I didn't get the actual outcome exactly the way it should have been, but I think the way I broke things down, they played out nicely. Let's start looking at the Facebook prelim, the Spike prelims. I'll do this quickly because I want to get to the tournament. Anthony Pettis, he looked good. Jeremy Stevens looked good as well. I think it was a tight fight. Pettis used a lot more wrestling, which is you have to be multidimensional to have success, and potentially this most stacked division in the UFC. So good for him. Where does he go from here? I don't know. I'd be intrigued. Maybe Anthony Pettis versus Gilbert Melendez. WEC champ, Strikeforce champ. It's kind of an oddball fight. Melendez will probably get a title shot coming into that, but it would be a very interesting fight. Pettis is, with that win, gets back on the winning track. Damian Maia over George Santiago. George Santiago, he just didn't look like he had it in him. Maia was able to use his striking to keep things on par and use his takedowns and control on the ground to win the fight. Damian Maia, I'm not sure who to line him up with. It's a tough call. He's definitely one of those ones in the division. I could see him... maybe Brian Stan. I know that would be an interesting fight. We'll see how they fare out there, even though they don't like to match winners and losers. George Santiago, I don't think he's done. They should keep him for one more. Let him fight somebody like Tim Boetsch. Again, winners and losers, they don't like matching them up. Let him fight Tim Boetsch on a preliminary, not on a preliminary, but on a free card. That'd be an interesting fight. If he loses that one, it's bye-bye George again. Moving now to the main card, Nam Fan defeating Leonard Garcia. I called it by a submission. He won a decision, but I was right. His striking was just more technical. Garcia did exactly what I expected him to. He started off being very technical, but his aggression got the better of him. He gassed out, he slowed down, and he won. He lost the decision. Fan looked very good. It's interesting, Fan said, no, I don't want to have a rematch. Garcia said, yeah, let's do it again. Who wouldn't? He probably wants that one back. Either way, good for both of them. Fight of the night, fantastic. Next, Melvin Guillard versus Joe Lauzon. That fight reminded me very much of the Tito Ortiz, Ryan Bader one, where it was an underdog against an overconfident opponent who was expecting to blow right through him, drops him with a quick shot early and submits him. I think Guillard came in, he overlooked Joe Lauzon. I was hoping he didn't. That's the one fight I got wrong, and it really cost me in the long run. 7-0 on the main card, and the Spike would have been fantastic. Lauzon, he'll get an upper tier opponent. Guillard will have to go down. And now, Melvin Guillard, maybe you can call Jim Miller and they can console each other. Maybe they can fight. That would be an interesting matchup. But both guys that were on the cusp of title shots and now have taken a step back with a defeat against an opponent, a lower down opponent who's now raised their stock. Moving along, Chael Sonnen defeating Brian Stan again. Perfect again. I didn't call the outcome. I said Sonnen by decision. He wins it, but he was well on his way to a dominant win with his wrestling like I expected. Stan just couldn't keep the fight standing. He was able to in the first attempt, but Sonnen's just a dominant wrestler. Stan just not ready to deal with that. Going back, he hasn't filled the holes as well as everyone thought he would. Like I said, he faced George Santiago and he faced Chris Lieben, guys who aren't wrestlers, and he was able to keep the fight standing and use his hands. Not going to happen with Chael Sonnen. Sonnen submits him. That's excellent that he finished. And then calling out Anderson Silva at the end, that was an interesting moment. I wish he would have started with Anderson Silva. You suck. Just go right into the I'm calling you out, and it'll be interesting to see. It's kind of almost WWE style. I don't, whatever. It's interesting. It's entertaining. We'll see if Anderson takes the fight or not. I hope, I guess in that case, I want to see Sonnen win the fight because then he gets to stay and he's the champ. Anderson Silva either retires or goes to 205. I'd really like to see Chael Sonnen stick around. He's a very interesting and very solid fighter. Co-main event, Kenny Florian. My heart goes out to the guy because, another shot at the title and he comes up short. He fought a good game plan again. He pushed Aldo to decision. One thing I'm seeing right now, Jose Aldo was good, but he's not unbeatable. It's not like he dominated Florian. He beat him he did beat him, and he was the better of the two fighters, but he didn't dominate, he didn't destroy him. If you get in there with a guy who's a solid striker and has good wrestling and has cardio, I think Aldo has some holes in his game. We'll see if he can tighten those up, but definitely, especially if some of the 155ers come down who are a little more well-rounded and a little bit maybe bigger than Aldo and can push the pace, should be an interesting fight. Florian, I hope he sticks around. He could earn himself another title shot with 2 or 3 convincing wins in the division, but we'll have to wait and see. Jose Aldo, who's next? Probably Chad Money Mendez. I look forward to that fight. I don't know if Mendez's striking is up to par. If he can't get Aldo down over 5 rounds, he could be in trouble. Main event, wow, Frankie Edgar, Gray Maynard, again, huge start for Gray Maynard, but he couldn't finish, and he tried that approach, unlike the first time, where instead of attacking and punching himself out, he was calm, he was calculated, he went for the decisive victory by just, slowly attacking and raising the aggression without getting stupid. He wanted to technically pick him apart and use that power, and it cost him in the long run because he couldn't stop him in the first round. And I wonder, one of two things gets into his head: either the issue of the fact I've hit everything, I hit this guy with everything I possibly can now in 2 fights, and he doesn't want to go away. Or second, I think he was overconfident. I think that's was the more likely scenario, is he was simply overconfident and he thought he had him, and he's just like, oh, all I have to do is land one more punch. And he went back to that one punch attempt at putting the fight away, and it wasn't happening for Gray. Frankie, good on him. He used that, like I said, he had this 1-2, and the right hand was there all night. He continued to do it. He switched in the kicks. No takedowns, or very limited grappling on the mat anyway. And in the end, it's that right hand that really put Gray in trouble. And it's fantastic to see Frankie finish. Just like seeing Sonnen finish Stan, it sent a message that these guys are here to finish fights, and did a good job. Again, I don't put everything into finishing, but it looks huge. And the most likely scenario is Frankie Edgar, Gilbert Melendez, Strikeforce versus UFC champion. Very interesting fight. Or, okay, you have Clay Guida, Ben Henderson in the ways. But either way, what does Gray do? He goes down a little bit and he'll fight. Maybe Gray fights Jim Miller. That would be an interesting rematch. Maybe he fights someone like, he could fight the loser of Ben Henderson, Clay Guida. He's not that far gone from the scenario, even, because he's 1-1 and 1, I guess, with the champ. He probably could get himself a title shot with a win or two very quickly. But I think the UFC should move on, because it's basically with Maynard, Edgar, Penn, the 3 guys for like over a year in the lightweight division. And finally, so I think it was a good overall event. I did fairly well. The only thing I was disappointed with is that the pay-per-view price went up by $5, and that's I don't like that. And when I look at this and I say, I see their numbers are struggling, and what do? Well, let's try and suck a few more dollars out of our loyal fans, the people that follow and pay for the pay-per-view. We're going to jack it up $5 more. I think that's a bad strategy by Dana White and company, because it's gonna push more people away from buying the pay-per-view. It's only $5, but that adds up. $5, especially as they put more and more shows on. I think they really need to reconsider that. I think a smarter move would have said, let's go backwards $5, or again, I suggested before, some kind of discount or some kind of reward for loyal fans who buy 2 pay-per-views. They get the third one for 50% off or 25% off. That will start to encourage people to come to get pay-per-views. Raising it $5 is going to either push people away or just prevent people who were considering buying it, because it's getting too expensive as far as I'm concerned, and the options are out there. I know Dana's going to go after and throw in jail the people that are getting it online, but anyway, $5, it's not a good way to go upping the price. Either way, that's my recap for UFC 136. 7-4 overall, but 6-1 on the Spike and main card fights. Very happy with that. The fights they broke down turned out really well. And it's time now to get to the prediction tournament and everything that goes with that. All right, now it's time to get on to the second half of our show, and it's going to be the tournament. I'm going to explain the rules, and we're going to draw out of the hat the competitors that are going to compete in the first round. And before I get into that, I want 32. I've got 30, so I have 2 spots. They're listed as unknown in here. The next 2 people who can message me and send me an instant message and sign up with their email address included in the message, they will get one of those 2 spots, and they will be bracketed in where the unknown gets drawn out. Let's go over the rules. This is a tournament head-to-head matchup, 32 competitors, 5 rounds. You are matched up. As I said, I need 2 more. The first round will be covering 2 events. UFC 137 and UFC 138. The following 4 rounds will cover 3 events. I will send an email out, and there will be instructions that you'll need to follow. I'll list the events you're predicting. How you predict. You predict the winner for each fight, and you will predict the outcome. So decision, submission, TKO, KO will go together. You get 2 points for the correct winner, and you will get 1 point for the correct outcome. If your winner is wrong, the outcome doesn't matter. 3 points total, and for the first one, there'll be 10 fights, so up to 30 points available. Continuing on with the rules, you need to have your email. I'm going to send it out via my Hotmail address. You gave me your email address. You need to submit your predictions by the start of the prelims. I will be a little lenient, especially if the first prelim or 2 we're not predicting, but get them in ASAP. If you don't, you get 0. There is no cost for this tournament. There are no prizes, but it's kind of fun, and you'll see how well you do. I'll do a couple videos with graphic overlays. You can see how you match up. Hopefully, you win. There is a championship round, like the finals, plus there will be a bronze medal game between the 2 people that lose in the semifinals. Again, 3 fights to cover. Continuing on, The tiebreakers. If we have a tie at the end of the round, there are 4 tiebreakers. The first most complete wins. So whoever had the most correct predictions with the correct outcome will advance. If you're tied still, most points from the main card. So whoever has most points from the 5 main card fights, they will advance, or from the total main card fights from all the events in that round. Number 3, most complete main card correct predictions. So again, that's how it works. If you get the most correct complete main card predictions, you advance. That's 3 tiebreakers. If we are still tied, most points from the main event. So there'll be 2 main events in the first round, 3 in the next round. Whoever has more points there will advance. If we are still tied after that, I really struggle to believe but 2 people will be tied. We'll come up with a tiebreaker, but I don't expect to get there. So I'm going to now draw the names. There are 32 names in here. I'm going to draw the names out. I'm just going to quickly write down who they face off. Again, I might mispronounce your username. I'll try, hopefully, not to butcher it too badly. I'll have a bracket up. You'll be able to check that out after this. You'll be able to see who you face off with in the first round. And I'll also send that bracket out in the email file so you can look at it a little bit closer. Check back after the events. I won't be posting everyone's picks, unfortunately. I won't be posting everyone's picks. It takes a long time. But I will be posting the score. So after the first event, I'll do a little video that'll have a sports desk or sports center style overlay showing the score for the events and how you fared. Now, I've contacted a number of people. We have a representative from MMABettingOdds.com. Surfer Ken is involved in the tournament, the MMA analyst. I'm also involved in the tournament, but I'm going under an anonymous name so that people don't check out my video and then see my picks and then make their picks accordingly, because I'm going to make sure it's on a level playing field as possibly can be. Anybody who I face off with honor system, I won't cheat much. Kidding, won't cheat at all. All right, so let's get to the first matchup. There's lots of users in here that are new, lots of my regulars, so it should be exciting. We'll see who comes out on top. And Sykes is our first competitor. That's actually the representative for MMABettingOdds.com. And he will be taking on Cody PlayX8 in the opening round. Continuing to draw names without looking. Our next bracket will feature Oh Hell Yeah 08, matching up with... 2 names drawn out. Let's drop one. Matching up with Klubel. Again, if I pronounce your name wrong, send it to me phonetically so I don't screw it up next time. So that's Cody PlayX against Klubel. Oh, sorry, no. Oh Hell Yeah 08 against Klubel. Our third matchup, Chris Pete G will take on Metallica 09 Tapout. And of course, Metallica 09 Tapout is a regular poster and posts a lot of his picks online, so I expected him to be in the tournament, or her. I guess I don't know your gender. If you want to straighten that out, that would be great. Our next competitor, Tio Expo 2011, will be taking on John Mac 1011 in the opening round. 2 new people there. Maybe longtime viewers, just never posted before. Our next matchup will be C Sharf 100. Again, if I pronounce your name wrong, please let me know. C Sharf 100 taking on Tim Sox 30. Tim Sox 30 is a regular poster. Sent me some messages before. Put that back in there. Next we have, another regular, XI Varksman. I'm probably not saying that correctly, but either way, you know who you are. You'll be able to check out the bracket. And that person will be taking on, Pound Vids. Another competitor. I sent an invite out that way. Gladly joined the tournament. Up next, Surfer Ken TV3, one of the online YouTube predictors. We'll be going toe-to-toe with It's Ya Boy G. And again, It's Ya Boy G. Let's try and keep it fair. Let's not go on to Surfer Ken's videos and then base your picks off his and do strategic picks. Pick them the way you think it's going to go down. 905 Justin, number 1, one of my longtime followers. Always glad to hear from him. Glad to see he's in the tournament. I'm assuming he's a he, Justin. Whatever. And Cascade Soldier, another online picker. I know Justin will keep it fair. Also Cascade Soldier. Justin going at it in the first round. Up next, Carp Buster 10. Maybe an avid fisherman. I don't know. Taking on, I got 2 in my hand, so I'll just re-pull it. Cartbuster 10, taking on an unknown opponent. So whoever signs up next will get Cartbuster 10 in the opening round. So Cartbuster 10, nobody yet, as of yet. It might be by the time the graphic goes up. Next, AM International, a recent poster, a recent joinee. Had a lot of contact with him, especially UFC 136. Thoroughly enjoyed the dialogue. We'll be taking on Team Takeover 316 in the first round. Moving on. Little drawn out process, but it's fun. Eric 21ND will be playing in the first round against Conman number 1. First person to sign up for the tournament, long-time poster, glad to see it. In our next round, MMA Phantom again, sorry for stumbling over your name. MMA Phantom will be doing battle with Kane Gotti in the opening bracket. And again, you'll be able to see how you advance. After this, you'll just be falling through the brackets, no more drawing. Our next competitor is an unknown competitor, so again, whoever gets drawn next will take on one of the late sign-ups. Again, I figure I can get 2 sign-ups. SBR Forum, I'm checking you guys out. I'm hoping to see 2 of you sign up. Vinny S27 will jump in the next spot against unknown, so Vinny S27, you don't know your opponent yet. No one signs up, I'm sure, I'll find somebody. I'm not too concerned about that. I know somebody will sign up. Jaguar Sound Blaster, longtime poster. Glad to see that person, the individual, in the tournament. They will be taking on G.I. Yojo 1 in the opening round. Should be a good matchup there. G.I. Yojo 1 also has his own YouTube prediction. I picked it to their prediction show. So again, don't Jaguar Sound Blaster, don't be cheating. Craney 25 Abel is in our next contest. 3 left in here. Oh, I looked in, so I didn't look in. Here we go. Duliv IJ, I'm not sure how to pronounce that properly. That's the MMA analyst, so let's try and keep it fair again. Don't base your picks off theirs. And finally, in the final matchup, Patriot MMA, number 14, that's my lucky number, Patriot MMA. You will be taking on Bola Run in the first round. So those are the brackets. You'll be able to check out the bracket, the actual bracket graphic, and see if you win your first round, who you advance to. But again, I'll sending out this email that'll include a link to this video, the bracket graphic, so you can check it out and follow the instructions, get everything posted. If you're not going to partake in this tournament, especially, let me know and I'll find a replacement. Because, it's not fun if people start dropping out. It makes it kind of, you lose interest. And I think it's going to be a very fun thing to do. And I'll probably do something with the winner. I'll have their name in my video somewhere. And I hope to do this more than once. So that's the tournament bracket. Check out who you're facing. Check out the predictions. Check out the picks. Make sure you submit all of them. Thank you for watching. UFC 136 was a success. Hopefully we'll be able to keep it rolling. We get a little break now before UFC 137. Dana, get those pay-per-view prices down. I would appreciate it very much. I know a lot of other people would. So I will catch you later. Next time you'll see me, it will be for UFC 137. I'm out of here.